This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Today is the last day on the job for Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes. He took over the department in February 2021. He led MPD through increased data collection efforts to target specific crimes and a body camera pilot program. Barnes will become the chief of the Seattle Police Department. His resignation is effective tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Dane County Sheriff's Office has pulled out of a federal grant that paid the county for giving the federal government the names of former inmates they believe were undocumented immigrants. The Cap Times first broke this story about the program. Essentially, the Sheriff's Office would send the federal government names of former jail residents they believed were here illegally. Then the county would be reimbursed for the costs to house them. Now, the department was not sending that data to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, but that doesn't mean those names wouldn't end up in the hands of ICE. Sheriff Calvin Barrett told News 3 his office will no longer be participating because they know immigration policy will dramatically change under the new administration, and he wants to, quote, represent the values of our community, end quote. UW-Madison is pausing spending amid the confusion over federal funding. Monday night, the Office of Management and Budget sent out a memo instructing federal agencies to stop payments of grants and loans. That could impact all kinds of services, from law enforcement to healthcare to Head Start. The administration ended up formally rescinding the memo, but sources confirmed to national outlets they still intend to pursue it. That puts the future in limbo, especially for institutions like the universities of Wisconsin. The UW system gets about a third of its funding from the federal government. Amid the uncertainty, UW-Madison is pausing uncommitted expenditures. That means any planned purchases, hiring, and out-of-state travel that would be paid for with federal funds are currently frozen. They also advise faculty to keep spending to a minimum because they don't know whether they'll be reimbursed by the federal government, as promised. A couple Wisconsin Republicans are introducing a bill to allow teachers to conceal carry firearms on school property. Lisa Hale has the story.
Republican lawmakers are presenting a bill that they say will protect Wisconsin school children from gun violence. State Senator Corey Tomczyk of Mosinee and State Representative Scott Allen of Waukesha have co-authored a bill allowing teachers and school staff to carry guns on campus. In a press release, Allen said the bill is at the request of the Germantown School Board, who wrote in 2023, quote, the gun-free school zone signs do nothing but notify a criminal that there will be few, if any, people in the building who can defend themselves. Allen proposed very similar legislation in April 2023. Allen said this bill avoids a statewide solution, but allows each district to make a choice currently prohibited by state law. For Civic Media News, I'm Lisa Hale.
Tomorrow is the election for the new chair of the Democratic National Committee. WisDem's chair Ben Wickler is one of the frontrunners. The other names at the top of the list are Minnesota Democratic Chair Ken Martin and former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. Wickler has endorsements from a handful of Democratic governors that could take him over the top if the representatives in their states follow their lead. And the Beyond Blessed Food Pantry is a staple in Baraboo, supporting more than 3,000 households every month. Well, they now have a new home. You may remember we reported the pantry was being forced to move because the owner of the building chose not to renew the pantry's lease. At one point, they were considering relocating to Reedsburg, but plans took an unexpected turn when a last-minute opportunity showed up in Baraboo. People stepped up right away to help the pantry buy the new building, which opened this week. And we've had such unusually warm temperatures, you're probably not thinking about road salt right this minute, but environmental advocates are spreading awareness of its impact. Today wraps up Winter Salt Awareness Week. Melissa Kay breaks down what you should know the next time we get some snow and you're ready to break out the salt.
Allison Madison is the program manager for Wisconsin Saltwise. She said every snowstorm is different, and so are the ways municipalities are dealing with snow and ice.
Snow fighting is both an art and a science.
Madison said rock salt can bounce and scatter off roadways. At highway speeds, they can have upwards of 30% of material loss.
By applying salt brine, all the salt stays where it's needed.
Excessive salt use in the winter contributes to the salting of our freshwater system, hampering the organisms who help keep the water from turning green.
When the salt levels go up, zooplankton populations go down, and we have more algal blooms.
I'm Melissa Kay, Civic Media News.
If you'd like to send Valentines to veterans, today is the deadline to get them in the mail. For the third year, the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs is hosting this program where people can send Valentines to show their appreciation to veterans for their service. They'll then be distributed to vets across the state. Last year, people sent 28,000 Valentines to Wisconsin veterans. That's so many that just organizing them all for distribution is a big effort. And these cards weren't just from people in the Badger State. They were from all over the country. They'll be given out at the veterans' homes in Chippewa Falls, King, and Union. And for the first time this year, they'll also be given to the folks at the Veterans Housing and Recovery Program locations in Chippewa Falls, Green Bay, and Union Grove. We have the address for where to send your Valentines at WMDXradio.com. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Packers lose a defensive coach. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Packers linebacker and run defense coordinator Anthony Campanelli is leaving Green Bay to become defensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Campanelli asked what's one of the biggest things he's learned as an NFL assistant coach.
Everybody has a different personality. I think that's part of being a coach is understanding that you don't coach everybody the exact same way. It just doesn't work that way.
On offense, former Vikings quarterback Sean Mannion expected to become Jordan Love's quarterback coach. Tom Clements retired last week. NBA, the Bucks in San Antonio to take on the Spurs. Damian Lillard named to the All-Star team as a reserve. Lillard talked about missing out on a chance to meet former UFC boxing champ Conor McGregor at the Jazz game the other night.
I didn't even know he was there. That's what was crazy. It's like we came back in here after the game and they was talking about it and I didn't even see him. And I'm a big Conor McGregor fan too, so I would have had some questions for him.
That's the Bucks' Damian Lillard. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Well, the murder weapon was never recovered, and there were no eyewitnesses, but most people still think O.J. did it, including O.J. According to Simpson's doctor, Simpson took the truth to his grave. Why is there yet another docuseries about this horribly tragic true crime story? Because obviously people can't get enough of it. American Manhunt, O.J. Simpson, is a new 4-part docuseries featuring interviews with police, lawyers who were on the case, Simpson's agent, and Ron Goldman's sister, Kim. American Manhunt is available on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, as we often do, when launching a new talk show, it's important to somehow make it unique and give it an identity separate from other talk shows. Comedian John Mulaney will host a talker on the streamer that has been the home to many of his stand-up comedy specials. Not many details have been released, and that is on purpose, according to Mulaney, who says this was the perfect match because he never wanted to do a talk show, and Netflix was getting out of the talk show game. I'm officially curious. 36 years ago, if you went to see the movie When Harry Met Sally, you got to see Meg Ryan proving that a woman can fake a really good time without the man knowing. If you read between the lines, you will probably remember the iconic scene set in an NYC deli. The famous commercial is being recreated for the Super Bowl, which is pretty cool, but with the same flirty and much older actors. Gross. It was only a matter of time, as there is nothing Americans want to see more than old people fake climaxing. Enjoy the game, but not too much. There is no statute of limitations on how far back Hollywood will go for a remake, as evidenced by the latest news that a Little House on the Prairie reboot is in the works, according to TVSeriesFinale.com. Really? They couldn't pick a better name? The first season of the show, that was originally based on the books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, will focus on the Ingalls family's move to Kansas. When the show drops, it will be on Netflix. Headed to the movies this weekend? The mystery thriller Companion opens in wide release, and the critics are digging it. It's pulling a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, where it mentions the film is brought to you by the makers of The Notebook and the horrifying Barbarian, making Companion a different kind of love story. The film stars Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. If you're looking to keep the kids occupied, check out the film Dogman. Dogman follows a police canine officer and his human partner who are injured on the job. To save their lives, the surgeons make them one, like in the same man-dog body. Like he could tell himself to roll over, or housebreak himself, or catch his own frisbee. It might sound a little science fiction-y, but it's a bona fide kids movie rated PG and pulling a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. If that's not convincing enough, the caption on the poster reads, "Part dog, part man, all hero." They sound like a very good boy. Let's go to the movies. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Now, we're not talking record warmth like yesterday, but still a pretty nice winter day. Maybe a few sprinkles early, otherwise increasing sunshine with highs near 40. For tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 21. Mostly cloudy Saturday with highs in the mid-30s. It's 35 at our studios.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.